Hi everyone, my name is Todd Nauck. Welcome to part 3 of this 3-part series where I've been working on a commissioned piece of Terra from the Teen Titans cartoon. She is also in the Teen Titans Go comic book series, which is what I drew for DC Comics for a number of years. I got a lot of questions from y'all, especially relating to Copic markers, so I'll be answering those in bulk. A lot of the questions are similar, so thanks for posting those, and also share some of my tips and insights on using Copic markers. Starting off here with the first one, ties into where we're at right now, is several of you asked what colors do I use for skin. For skin tones, especially for Caucasian characters, I tend to use a E00 or the E01, using the E01 for this shot of Terra. And then when it comes to shadows, which is what I'm doing here, I like to use an E11 and or an E21, and then this is just the E11 for this one. Now, the style of shading that I'm doing here lends itself to another question, bromine, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I apologize if I'm not, asked, when using Copics, how do you know what colors to use for highlights and shadows? So for my style here, especially with an animated style character, I'm going for a more simple kind of graphic sort of shapes, sort of elements. What I like to do is lay in a base color like I did there with that E01, or like what I'm doing here with the Y08. These are my base colors. It's where a bulk of the recognizable color for the character is going to be laid down. But as you can see, I'm using the white of the paper as a separate light source. I'm using the white as a quote unquote third color. So I'll consider where my light source is, and this, for the most part, loosely based, is kind of coming from above and a little bit to the left. Our left. So I'll lay in the base color like I did with the shorts. I'm doing the same with the hair here, the same shade of yellow. And then as you see, like I did with the shorts, the logo there on her shirt, and I'll also do here in the hair, is then take a darker color, as I did with the skin tones. So here for the hair, I will come in with, and every aspect of the elements of this character, her goggles, her gloves, I'll come in with a secondary color, a darker color, and create a harder shadow and a shadow that from the opposite side of the light source. And I'll point that more out when we get to that stage. Right now here, doing the hair, for the most part, I like to just do a simple base color, really saturate it, really get the vibrancy of the color, and but still kind of play with the shapes and the flow of the hair. So it's not necessarily strictly animated style look, but not really that much of illustrative look either, like a lush sort of life drawing rendering. Kind of trying to walk the line between the two. So here I am using that secondary color, that Y19, coming in to create the shades, the hard shadow, separating it from the white of the light, and then underneath the opposite side of where the light would be coming from for the most part. With the eyes here, dropping in a B21, shading with a B24, and doing the same here with the tongue, with the R20 and RV95. Base color, then coming in, layering on top with a shadow color. I'll use the same process here with the gloves, coming in with a base color, and I've eyeballed my light source, where I'd be putting the highlights. It's just kind of experimentation. Sometimes I'll pencil it in if I can't really figure out where is the exact shape. How do these planes of this this element, you know, whether it be the buckle or her face or the hair, how would the light wrap around these or highlight these elements, these shapes? So sometimes I'll pencil it in lightly, kind of erase it a little bit so you don't see the pencil line underneath the marker ink. But what I tend to do now sometimes is I can just kind of see it in my head. I just kind of go for it. And that's what I did with this Terra piece. So sometimes I pencil in where the light source will be, sometimes, or where the highlight will be. Sometimes I just go for it. And then I cut in here with a darker color. Like I said, again, doing it on separating the base color from the white, and then putting a shadow on that same color for a shadow on the opposite side. And I feel this kind of look is kind of fun for an animated style character. It can be kind of dynamic, kind of vibrant, and I really like how it looks. Really, I think, is a fun way to create depth and volume of the character, and create shape. So let's see, have a few other questions. At least one that a number of you guys have asked is what type of paper or what brand of paper would I recommend or do I use? I like Bristol board. It's a nice sturdy stock, and I like brands like Strathmore or Canson recycled Bristol board. These commissions I tend to do on like a 9x12. I also buy the 11x17 size for my comic book artwork. But I really enjoy the smooth side. The artboard comes with a textured side, kind of has a grain or a tooth to it, which is nice for some illustrative purposes. And then the other side is smoother, which I prefer for my commission and professional work. I like how the multi-liners move across the board, as well as the Copic sketch markers. I just like that smoothness. It creates a really clean, smooth line. Same with the colors. So that's what I would recommend. Now coming in here with the rocks, I've chosen a different color, the E84, and I just come in and I do the same light shape element as well. This with a rock, it's more fun because it's going to be a kind of a gritty texture. You can really play with the tip of the sketch marker and the pressure you can place on it to create different shapes, and that really gets fun because you can put little grainy sort of shapes in there and really convey a rock type texture. Let's see, and then I'll come in here and I'll be putting in a secondary color, and I chose almost like a different shade of brown. It's not even really a shadow shade of brown, but it's a completely different shade from the base shade, just to create more contrast in the colors, give the eye a little more to play with. And just to give it a little different look, so it didn't kind of blend in too similar with the brown of her boots and her gloves and belt. Now coming in with for the Chibi Beast Boy, again, start with a base color, and since this is a small one, I don't go as hard with the highlights, but you can see there I layered that same color on top of itself to create shadow there in the forehead or there by the mouth. I really enjoy the ability to do that using the same color can create a shadow, a nice subtle shadow, and then cutting in with a different shade of green for the hard light shadows. And drawing the Chibi Teen Titans is a lot of fun. It's an even further removed way of thinking about the shapes than what I had been doing with the actual characters themselves, which are an exaggeration to begin with. Taking the exaggeration to another level with the Chibis, or the Super Deforms, as they're often called, is a fun way to get the brain thinking in different ways as well. The client had only asked for a Terra shot here, but I thought since I have some negative space, it'd be fun to throw in a Beast Boy, since Terra and Beast Boy go together, and it's just fun to draw. So they were definitely surprised to see that and enjoyed that. And last up is a background element to tie the whole piece together, kind of give Terra some pop. Wanted to use a circle, but my circle template was not large enough, so I pulled a MacGyver, grabbed my watercolor palette that was sitting there on next to my drafting table. It's the perfect sized circle, so using whatever tools are at hand. So chose a cool gray here because most of Terra's colors are warm, especially these browns would have competed with a warm gray, so I chose a cool gray number 3. Not too light, but not too dark. Didn't want to compete with the black of her shirt. And once I fill in the circle here with Cool Gray 3, I will then come in with some Cool Gray 4 just to add some subtle shadow details to give the eye something to play with. So that pretty much wraps up this this commission here of Terra from Teen Titans. Hope y'all enjoyed this 3-part series. I have more 3-parters coming up this summer, so stay tuned for those. And if you're online and you're creating Copic art, join the Copic color art community at copiccolor.com. You can post your art, you can see what other people are doing, you can catalog the markers that you have. I'm online as well on copiccolor.com, so click on the link below in the video description for the Copic color art community, and you can also go to my Copic color account as well and see this Terra piece posted there, as well as other things I've done. That pretty much wraps up this piece. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.